Alright, today let's talk about what a well-balanced college career looks like. Now, this obviously looks very different for everyone, but this is what I found as I'm graduating what a well-balanced college career looks like. Basically everything that they tell you when you're going into college from high school, what you should be doing and what you should be looking forward to. So let's first start out with academics. So in general, academics consist of two things. One, that you're learning in a subject field after you choose your major, and two, all of the classes that you take. And I think academics is directly linked to your social life because your social life basically drives your classes, and your classes basically drive your social life. You meet a lot of new people in there through student orgs or similar interests and stuff like that. So I think they're directly linked to one another. But I think classes and learning is not really the biggest focus of college. I think it's like very minor in comparison to these other subject areas that we'll talk about. I think those are way more important than your academics in general and learning because personally I've found that in my social life, my external and like my professional areas of my life, which I consider like the four pillars of college, and how you become well balanced in it for a career. This academic section does not tend to be the biggest one. It's actually like the least supported one for like an experience within college. So yeah, you have your classes for your major and you're obviously learning from it. But the one good thing that I think that comes out of the academic section is that when you're learning, you tend to not want to always learn about like your subject area that you're always interested in. For instance, I study computers, but I'm interested in geography. I like looking at different landscapes, or I like looking at aviation. I like looking at the thermodynamics and the laws behind why an airplane is allowed to fly the way that it does, which is very specific, but you tend to get into that state where you're like, you have a phase of intellectual growth and curiosity, and those typically manifest in whatever form that you like to learn in, or the way that you go about finding other information for yourself so that I don't know, you're satisfied. But for me, this tend to be in three different ways. It's one, either through reading books or research papers, stuff like that. Self self improvement. So as you become more curious within a subject area, you start to set goals for yourself, and you start to want to improve yourself in any sort of way. For me, I was like really like not that good looking. I'm still working on myself, but like I wanted to start going to the gym one year, and after my freshman year, after seeing everyone else, they're like self improving and stuff like that, I was like, okay, I want to look better. I want to lose weight. So that's kind of like, you know, you either grow intellectually as a person or you grow intellectually in terms of the knowledge that you're acquiring. And then your hobbies. Your hobbies tend to be something that you start to develop a lot more strongly while you're in college. For instance, a very big stereotype for computer science people once they go to like the West Coast, that's where a lot of the internships are. They like rock climbing or they like hiking and stuff like that. So very naturey things. So yeah, you typically develop a lot of these sort of things while you're in college. But other than that, I think the social life aspect is probably the most important, or if not the second most important, I would think. Um, because these are the people that are going to be your friends like for the rest of your life. I hope. Um, just be really social, be outgoing. Don't miss like the next 4 years of your life just sitting in your room acting and studying and like not going out and meeting people, because this is going to be like the most important thing that you probably ever do, because it's going to either set you up for life or it's gonna basically crumble and fall down on you because you didn't do anything. Now I think there's like three different areas that support your pillar of having a good social life, and it's one is student orgs. I think it's very not underrated, but I don't think people understand like the power of joining a student org. Like this is where you're going to meet everybody who is either a similar major as you, has similar interests to you, and just wants to be your friend because everyone's in the same position. Everyone got into your university or college or whatever. They don't have any friends and they want to find other people who also have similar interests, or like to, I don't know, have the same classes or whatever it may be. When you go to a student org, you're going to have a common interest with somebody there. It's up to you to put yourself out there and have a good, social outing, social life, and get to know these people because they're going to become your friends eventually at some point. And I think student orgs are separated, and I would recommend like joining two of them. I would find that both technical or a fun and interesting one is very beneficial. Technical meaning it's related to your discipline, your major, what you like to study, something that you learn in classes, something intellectually provoking. The other one is like a fun or interest. You might be interested in sports or arts, crafts, music, whatever it may be. For me, that's soccer. I like to play soccer, so I play soccer for like a club or a sports team at my university. So yeah, and then this technical one is for me, it's like an engineering association. So I would definitely recommend having two. I think it's very well balanced because you're not always locked in and grinding. You can also have some fun. And a lot of the time, some of these technical ones now, like you can even just like also have fun, and it's just like they both go hand in hand. You don't have to have two. A lot of the time, they're coupled into one. I just Soccer is not something um that like another big intellectual or technical group will always have. So I have to. Social life. We also have your main friend group. Your main friend group is going to be fun and interesting, hopefully. If not, well, you should reconsider if they're actually your friends or not. Your main friend group is your bread and butter when you're in college. Like, without them, like, everything falls apart. They should be people that, like, even when you're external, even when you're in your professional world, like, these are the people that you're talking to. These are the people that always text you. It's not you're the always the one to text first. The group chat is always popping off. Like everybody should be pretty active, liking one another, and you guys tell your secrets. Everyone goes dating. Everyone goes out. Everyone does all these sorts of other things. That is a good like friendship and meaningful friend group. Like you guys do stuff outside of college. It's not just like a one-time shot college thing. And obviously, dating is a pretty big part of college. A lot of the friends that I know now that have graduated, they are still together from somebody that they met in college. So, yeah, not an experience that like is mandatory or, you know, not uncommon, but yeah, something to consider. I would say um, I'll get back to this arrow down here at some point because I always think these two pillars right here are probably the most important, external and the professional one. So the external, what do I mean by external? Things that you do just outside of college that either not relating to college or anything within it, or relating to it in some way that progresses you elsewhere in your life. A good example, and I think this is these two, external, I think is probably like the most important pillar that I have here. I think these three really make up a lot of how you are going to grow in the direction that either your career or what you define as success goes in towards the future. So traveling. Traveling can encompass going to, this also links to professional, that's why I have an error here, going to conferences, going just traveling to different states just to meet people, like socially networking online and finding people who are interested in something that you have an endeavor in that could be either be business or like fun or interest related, like over here. Um, so traveling also like going to I don't know, let's say like example, going to Europe, going to North America, South America, wherever you may be, however you're traveling, meeting the people there is important. Um, I learned a lot from people who are smarter than me, people who are in positions that I want to be in because I traveled. I have friends all around the world that I know I can call up and I can crash on their couch if I, well, was in the middle of the Sahara Desert or something like that, right? So those are really important. Traveling is really important. Obviously, not many students or majority of students, at least from my knowledge, do not get like the big opportunity to do so. But I would recommend like at least once or twice, like go on a big college trip, especially like with your main friend group or something like that, or even just like by yourself, like take the time for yourself or with other people to go and experience the world. A lot of like older people that I know or mentors of mine really wish, like the regret is that like I wish I had traveled more. I wish I saw the world before I was so busy because you're not going to have the time when you're older. Once you graduate and get a job, or you graduate and pursue your own endeavors, whatever it may be, like you're not going to have as much time as you think. Like time is of the essence. Like you need time, basically. Time is essence. I don't know if I spelled that right. But yeah, time is everything when you're in college. So like you really need to make sense of like what you're doing, how you're doing it, and make every second count. Basically, literally, business endeavors. Not necessarily you're supposed to do this in college, but I would think a lot of people think about this at some point, either starting their own business or what they want to do after they have a lot more experience to be able to make a business in the first place. And it also might not even be your own business, it might be somebody else that you know that you reached out to, that you want to start, that you want to do, or you want to get involved with. A lot of people tend to think about this by the time that they graduate or their third or fourth year, and maybe sometimes even a lot older now. But yeah, I would say business endeavors is also important as you travel because they're usually pretty linked together. Personal projects, things that you do outside of college that are not related to your degree or not related to these other people and stuff like that. I would say that encompasses like volunteer work, external hobbies that are not necessarily like intellectually stimulating. These are things that you do for fun. They're similar to hobbies, but they also have some other sort of like group merit to it. Like I think volunteering is like a pretty good example for me. Like I volunteer like with veterans a lot of the times, or I make I don't know, arts and crafts, or I donate. These are like personal, like I call them projects, but they're not really projects. They're more so like personal endeavors that you do externally that are not related to college that fulfill you in some sort of way, which I guess is a hobby, but there's more meaning to it besides like you're not necessarily doing it to get something out of it, right? Which is like the mentality should have at least. Okay, let's go with go getter. Yeah, I think this is like a big point that I want to handle, like emphasize, if anything, is these types of people or the type of people that you meet while you're in college, wherever it may be. That's why I kind of highlighted like social and external life. Um, they're all kind of linked to you will meet specific people that will give you the opportunity to change your life for the better in whatever it may be. It might be something fun or interesting. It might be something technical. It might be business. It might be the ability to go travel and do something that you want to do. Go-getter people are, I guess, people who are out have like an outstanding capability to succeed in whatever area that they may like, but at the same time, they're also putting in a lot more effort than other people because they really want it that badly. And successful people is people that you look up to in terms of what you define to be successful. Sometimes it may be, money, sometimes it may be, social influence, etc. Whatever it may be, that's up to you to define, but it tends to encompass a lot of these other people. That's why I'd say like meeting other people from other colleges is important because there is definitely people that are smarter than you. There's always a bigger fish to fry. So that's like entrepreneurs, mentors, like-minded students, people smarter than you. These are all kind of like sort of linked in some sort of way, and you're bound to cross some of these people in your life and like leverage your connections either at home, like who your parents know. Like always be curious about who other people know. Like even if somebody's sharing a story, it's like, oh, I knew this guy. Yeah, he met Michael Jackson and he fought him at a bar. What? Yeah, try to find out who that person is. Maybe they know Michael Jackson now. So yeah, that's also pretty important. I would say second or third most important. It's hard to kind of rank these. These are current, but I would say like external is definitely first. Professional. These are things that you will do in the summer, fall, spring, whatever it may be. You're kind of taking a risk about like maybe not graduating or not having like the best social life because you do these sort of things, except for summer ones. So I would say like having one, and these are usually like all summer based, but you could also do like I don't know, like one in the fall, one in the spring. Those are less common, but like if you're pretty ahead of the curve in terms of like your classes and stuff, it's not too unusual for you to do it. But internships, research, pursuing something, entrepreneurship, these are more related to like your personal projects, and like your business endeavors and stuff like that, I would say. But internship and research, probably two most important things that a lot of people do during the summer, whatever major you may be. Um, just go do them, get the experience, and basically just bring back what you learn to the table and apply it in your classes and apply it externally to whatever endeavors that you may want to pursue. And yeah, I think like in general, this really encompasses everything I believe has a well balanced college career. Academics, social life, things you do outside of college, things that you do to help you progress within college and have a well balanced social life is professionalism, basically, at the core of it. How you grow as a person and who you meet around you are super important.